video for those of you who are bloggers, freelancers, content creators, or service-based entrepreneurs who are planning to create online courses so you can probably stop trading your time for money or be able to make a bigger income and impact, but is currently finding yourself procrastinating on your online course. This is my story, and I hope that it inspires and encourages a lot of you. Hey guys, for some reason my neighbor's dogs are pretty noisy at the moment, so I do hope that you won't be bothered if you hear noises, background noises here and there. So for today, I am going to tell you my story on how I started as a lifestyle travel and fashion blogger and transitioned into becoming an entrepreneur. This is going to be like a chit chat version. Just imagine yourself like sitting right across to me in a cafe with a coffee or a tea if you're a tea person, and just listening to me telling my story. As I mentioned in the intro, I just hope that this would encourage and inspire a lot of you who are thinking about creating and launching online courses, so you can steward whatever God has given you. I always say that you have this God-given gifts, skills, expertise, passions that He has uniquely put in you, and you can teach other people and you can serve others with. And there's a reason why you have this desire to be able to create an online course. And so whatever that reason is, I want to encourage you that it's more than possible for you. If it's possible for me, then it's possible for you as well. If I can, then you can too. Here's the thing. I wasn't always this confident as a course creator and entrepreneur. Now, for you to get the context, I want us to go back to the very beginning. On June 2018, I had my very first online course idea. That very first course idea of mine was all about how to travel solo as a female student traveler. The thing is, at that point, I just got home from my exchange program in the University of Trento in Italy. So I spent 6 months living in there as an exchange student, and I also experienced a lot of like solo travels. I solo traveled to Budapest, Hungary, Rome, Italy. I solo traveled to other cities in Italy as well. And so that's what's inspired me to create this online course. I was thinking of opportunities for me to maximize my blog, and one of the things I realized that I can do that is to create online courses, to create my own digital products. But the thing is, at that time, I was procrastinating a lot. And procrastination, as I've described in my book, which is to be launched soon, I'm still writing it, is just a shallow surface level symptom of a deeper reason or a deeper mindset block that you have inside. And that mindset block for me was a fear of failure and criticism. All I kept thinking was, if I was going to launch this course and it fails, it's going to be the end of my reputation. It's going to ruin me and my brand as a blogger. When you're in that hole, it just keeps spiraling down and down and downwards until you just give up. Another mindset block that I had was perfectionism. I thought at that time that if I launched a course that wasn't perfect at all, that had flaws, that wasn't professionally edited by a professional editor, or, shot with a high quality SLR and all that, then I thought to myself that that course would be a failure. And the biggest thing that held me back as well is that I was in the middle of an imposter syndrome, right? I was feeling like I wasn't expert enough, like I didn't know enough to be able to teach other people. I thought that I wasn't, confident, I wasn't popular enough to be able to launch a course that would be successful. And adding to all of that, I was clueless to the course creation process. I didn't know where to start. The strategies were all so overwhelming for me, and I thought, oh my god, this is probably not worth it at all. But I didn't give up. I still tried to find out a solution to my problems and how I can go forward with my goal, which is to be able to create and launch my course so that I can monetize my blog. And then I figured my remedy to my fears could be facing the fear itself. And so I challenged myself to show up every single day on my Instagram stories to teach other people what I know, to give some tips on blogging, which is something that I was still talking about before. And I called those my YTM daily tips, which is my previous brand and blog name, yours truly, Myrra. Even though I was doing that, take note, I was still procrastinating on the very thing that I wanted to do, which is to be able to create that course. Looking back now, I think that that is God's way of preparing me to where He wants me to be, at the same time to boost my confidence in showing up online. I probably will not be able to record this YouTube video right now if I didn't do that before, because I was very much, shy and introverted at that time, that I thought talking in front of a camera is so awkward, is something that I couldn't do, is something that I will never ever possibly be able to do in my life. And at that point, even though I was procrastinating on the very one thing that I was planning to do, I was still able to take action, which is something that you have to learn to do as well. And then God had a plot twist. In January 2019, I remember this so vividly. I was supposed to be going to my university at that time because it was going to be my last semester in university, and I was so excited, but then I was feeling so sick. And then when I got there in my apartment near the university, I was so weak. I was just feeling so weak and so sick, and I've never felt that way in my life ever before. And so I was also particularly concerned of what's happening. But I thought to myself, it was just an on and off fever, right? I thought that, through antibiotics, it's going to be gone. And so the fever went on for 3 days, which I shrugged off as a regular flu, right? And then the Monday that week, my relatives decided that I had to go get myself checked by a doctor because it was like the fever has been on and off for 3 days at that time. And so it turns out, here's the thing, that the regular flu that I was just shrugging off was actually dengue. And I don't know if you know dengue or if it's common where you're at. Here in the Philippines, it's actually pretty common. It's a mosquito-borne viral infection, and it actually has no cure. If you're a patient of dengue, you can only expect for your body to cure itself, for the symptoms and the infection to be gone. And so at that point, I only had one person to rely to, and that is God. I just prayed and prayed and prayed. I was sent to the emergency room, and for an entire week I was hospitalized. I also had to be injected with potassium because it turns out that my potassium levels were very low. At the same time, the doctor told me and my mom that if I had been diagnosed a day later, I would have died because my platelets level were just so low. We're almost at A0. And so it freaked the heck out of me, and I was so weak physically during that week. But then again, through God's grace, I kept myself strong inside. It was all through God. I didn't know how I managed to survive that moment in my life, but it was just so scary, and God was just there with me. And thankfully, after 1 week, I was healed. I still had all the rashes and all like the side effects of the medicines and the dengue virus, it's not like completely gone, and I had to recuperate, but I was able to go back to my university to continue my studies during that semester, thankfully, because I was supposed to graduate at that year. So yeah, and then obviously during the hospitalization period, I was just there looking up at the ceiling, filled with fear, but also filled with gratitude from all the love that I have been receiving from my family. I just knew that I couldn't have survived those moments alone. I was filled with all of these like overwhelming feelings. At the same time, I was realizing that life is really so short. I thought to myself, this shouldn't be the end of it, God. Like, if I'm going to die, this couldn't be it. Like, I couldn't believe that at that time I was 21 years old. And so I thought to myself, I'm just so young. I have so many dreams to achieve, so many things that God has still planted in my heart, a purpose that still lives on, and this can't be it. Right? And that's essentially the main thing that I was thinking about as I lied down in the hospital bed. And then again, I realized that life is so short and I have to really make the most out of it. And so I promised myself that if I get healed, then I'm not going to waste another minute of my life in procrastinating, in holding myself back from doing the things that I really want to do. I also promised myself that I'm not going to slave away in a career, in a job after university that would make me feel so unfulfilled, and that would technically waste my time because I'm not doing something that I love, and I'm just doing it just for the sake of, finances and surviving. I promised myself that if it's Jesus's will for me, then I'm going to build a life that would really make an impact, not just to the people around me, but to everyone who I come across with. And so after getting back from the hospital, I got to work. These are just some of the, stories that I had at that time where I was still recuperating. I was still feeling so weak. In the daytime, I was obviously a student, but at the nighttime, I made sure that I was taking action in all of these, goals and plans that I had. And then a few weeks later, I launched the beta round of my first ever online course. Was it easy? Not at all. In fact, it was actually a really messy process. And did I have hundreds of enrollees in my first ever launch? Not at all. But was it worth it? Absolutely. I was actually so proud of myself. I was so thankful to God that I was able to overcome my fears and myself as I got out of my procrastination cycle. That propelled me to where I am now. Now, just imagine if I didn't take action at that time. If after that big realization from my near death experience, I didn't take any action and I just ignored it and overlooked it and just kept on procrastinating on the one thing that I was felt called to do. I can't imagine where I would be right now if I didn't take that path. I'd probably be in an office desk somewhere in a job that I don't really like or I'm not really passionate about, wondering what could have been if I just took that risk, if I just took that path. So, as I told you this story of mine, there are a few lessons here that I want you to leave as you finish watching this video. Number one is that God can turn our biggest trials into our biggest breakthroughs. He did, right? That was the rock bottom of my life. That near death experience, God turned it into such a miracle in my life that changed my entire worldview, my entire perspective of life. The second lesson is that you don't need a near-death experience for you to realize that life is really so short and that you have to make the most out of that one life that you have been given. God put you here for a reason, and if He calls you to steward whatever He has given you to be able to serve others, to teach others, then do so. If for some reason you feel like you're not qualified to do it, know that all you need is God's grace. That's it. You don't have to have so many degrees, masters, doctoral degrees, or millions of followers, or countless money in your bank account, or so much fame in your life for you to be able to do what God calls you to do. Remember the quote that God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies those He has called. And last thing that I want you to take out of this story is that creating and launching a course is actually really supposed to be simple. I learned that the hard way. I procrastinated for so long, and I just realized after being able to launch that first ever course of mine that, oh my gosh, the process is actually really supposed to be simple. I was just overthinking it so much. I was just listening to so many experts and overwhelming myself with so many Google blog posts and articles and YouTube videos that I thought I need to be able to do all of those strategies for me to have a successful online course. But in reality, it's all supposed to be simple. The thing is, we're most likely just crippled with our fears and our procrastination and our fear of failure or criticism and our perfectionism, right? So if we overcome those things that are holding us back, we will realize that we can actually do what we have always been wanting to do. And so that's it for this story of mine. I do hope that this has encouraged and inspired a lot of you, that if you want to be able to create and launch a course, you can do it. If you want to be able to launch and write your own book, you can do it. If you want to be able to make music or follow your passions in life or start your own business, you can do it. You just need to be able to get over your procrastination and your fears and choose faith over fear. Again, if God calls you to do it, He will give you everything that you need to be able to do it. In fact, I think He has already given you everything you need right now at this point. So if you have been wanting to create and launch your online course, but you have no idea how to do it, then I actually do have a free guide that you can download in this link right here, where you can learn the 5 things that you would need to be able to do so you can launch your course in 6 weeks or less. Just the same way that I did in my first ever online course. Okay, so I was just editing the YouTube video and I realized that the video cut off at the moment that I was gonna say the outro of the video. But anyways, I do hope that this video has inspired and encouraged a lot of you. Please let me know in the comments below if you've liked this chit chat vibe, kind of like storytelling video, so I can do more for you. If you are interested, please hit like and subscribe and share this video if you feel called to. And again, I do hope that this has been encouraging for you. And so I'll see you in the next video. Remember that you are loved.